I want to break up with my girlfriend who was raped, and I hate myself for it. I know what this makes me look like. I know how this sounds. And believe me, I've gone through it all in my head. Over and over again. Every scenario, every possible way this story could have gone. Every what if, every maybe if I just waited longer, or maybe if I'd said something differently. I've tortured myself with those questions for months. But I need to say it. I want to break up with my girlfriend. The woman I love. The woman I supported through the worst year of her life. The woman who was *Zuli assaulted over a year ago. And I absolutely hate myself for even thinking about it. But I'm also tired. I'm empty. And I don't know how much longer I can go on pretending everything is normal when it's clearly not. Let me go back. Let me tell you everything from the beginning, exactly how it happened. It was just over a year ago. A year and a month, to be exact. She was walking home from work. It wasn't that late, maybe 7:30 in the evening. She always took the same route. It wasn't a dangerous area. Well lit. Public. It was the kind of route you take 1,000 times and never think about. That night, someone followed her. Someone attacked her. He had a weapon. I won't get into the details because they still make me sick, but she survived. Thank God, she survived. She made it out alive. They found the guy within 24 hours. There were security cameras in the parking lot of the store where she worked. A bank across the street caught his car. The police were efficient. Fast. The DNA matched. He didn't even deny it. He pled guilty. Probably just wanted to avoid the worst punishment possible. He got 20 years. With parole, he could be out in 10. 10 years. 10 years of supposed peace. 10 years where we don't have to fear running into him on the street. But the damage he did doesn't have a timeline. It doesn't get locked away with him. It stayed. It changed everything. It changed her. It changed me. I wasn't the victim. I know that. I never try to make this about myself. But still, it broke something in me, too. I remember the moment I got the call. Her mom called me from the hospital. I dropped everything and drove over, but when I got there, they wouldn't let me see her. She didn't want to see me. I was confused. Hurt. But I understood. Or at least, I tried to. I went home that night and just sat there. I couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. Couldn't think. The woman I loved had been brutalized and I hadn't been there to stop it. That guilt ate me alive. I didn't hear from her for a week. Not a single message. Not a call. Her parents were with her, but no one gave me updates. I felt like I was just hanging in the void. Waiting. Hoping. Wondering if she was even going to acknowledge me again. After 7 days, her sister called. Said she was okay, physically. Said she'd probably reach out in a few days. She didn't. Instead, her sister texted me again and said my girlfriend wanted to talk, but only for a few minutes, and only in person, at her parents' house. I went. Of course I went. Her mother opened the door and talked to me like I was a stranger at the DMV. No warmth. Just cold instructions: don't touch her, don't hug her, don't sit too close, don't say too much. I walked in. My girlfriend was sitting on a chair, pale, distant, expressionless. Her dad stood nearby. Her sister was on the couch. It felt like a courtroom. Or a therapist's office. Everything about it was rehearsed and mechanical. Her sister did the talking. Not her. She said my girlfriend wanted me to know she appreciated my support and that she was going through something very traumatic. That she hoped I'd understand. I just stood there, nodding, feeling like I'd been turned into a ghost. That was the first time I realized I was no longer her partner. I was just some guy who used to matter. And yet, I still loved her. I went home that night feeling like I had been erased. Like I didn't exist in her life anymore, except as a footnote. Still, I told myself, she needs time. You need to be patient. She's processing trauma. I reminded myself over and over. So I waited. Days passed. Then a week. Then another. Finally, she messaged me herself, not her sister. She said she wanted to meet somewhere public. A cafe we used to go to. I didn't hesitate. I agreed immediately. When I saw her that day, she was different. Not just emotionally. Physically, she looked exhausted, drained. The meds had numbed her out completely. She looked right through me. Her speech was flat, slow, almost robotic. She didn't hug me, didn't smile, didn't even hold eye contact for more than a second or two. She said she couldn't be in a relationship right now. That she had too much healing to do. That she needed space and couldn't deal with emotional expectations. I told her I understood. Of course I did. What else could I say? That I missed her? That I was falling apart too? That I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't concentrate on anything? That every time I closed my eyes, all I saw was the person I loved disappearing behind a wall of silence? No. I said I understood. That I was here for her no matter what. That I'd wait. That she could call me anytime, for anything. A shoulder to cry on, someone to vent to whatever she needed, I would be that. I tried to tell her I loved her. She interrupted me. She said she didn't want to hear that. Not right now. That I needed to respect her boundaries. So I did. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling for hours. Replaying every second of that meeting. Wondering if I'd made a mistake. Wondering if I should have fought harder, or maybe said less. But I told myself, she texted you. That's a start. She wants some form of connection. And then, she started texting again. Small stuff. Simple things. Like she was trying to practice being normal again. Like she wanted to remember what it was like to have a safe, casual conversation. It wasn't much, but I held on to it. Every message felt like a breath of air after drowning. That went on for about 6 weeks. Then I asked her if she'd like to grab dinner. Nothing heavy. Just food. Familiar place. Friendly faces. She didn't reply for 2 days. When she finally did, she said she needed to run it by her therapist. That hurt a little. I won't lie. I wasn't asking to move in together. I wasn't asking to restart anything physical. I just wanted to sit with her. In public. To talk. She agreed eventually, but only for a date 1 month away. By that point, 4 months had passed since the attack. 4 months. And in that time, I had only seen her face to face twice. One of those times she didn't speak. The other time she told me she couldn't be with me. Still, I waited. The day of our dinner came. I showed up on time. She didn't. I waited. 15 minutes. Nothing. 25. Nothing. 35. I finally texted, "Hey, are you close?" She wrote back, "On my way." No apology. Just, "On my way." When she finally arrived, she sat across from me and barely looked up. I asked her how she was doing. She said, "Please don't ask personal questions." That crushed me. We ate quietly. I tried to talk, to joke, to ask about work, about her day. She answered in short, clipped phrases. As soon as she finished eating, she said she had to go. I asked if she could stay a few more minutes. She started visibly fidgeting, like she was getting anxious. I didn't want to upset her, so I let it go. I said I loved her and that I missed her. She stood up and walked out. The next day, she texted again. Like nothing happened. We fell into a rhythm of weekly lunch meetups. No touching. No hugs. Just food, small talk, and goodbyes. Eventually, she started opening up more. Talking about her new job. Telling me little stories. Laughing, even. I thought maybe this was progress. But the truth is, I felt lonelier than I've ever felt in my life. I loved this woman. And I was sitting across from her like a stranger. We didn't hold hands. We didn't sit close. There was no affection. Just two people pretending to be okay. 1 week, she didn't show up. No warning. I texted. No answer. I called. Nothing. After a few hours, I called her parents just to make sure she was okay. They were cold. Defensive. Almost hostile. I said, "I just want to know she's safe." Eventually, her mother said, "She's fine. Don't expect updates." I started spiraling. Was she okay? Was she hurt again? Back in the hospital? Was something wrong? No one told me anything. 2 more weeks passed. Silence. Finally, I called her sister and asked the simplest, most desperate question I've ever asked another human being. Is she alive? Her sister said yes. Then, after a pause, admitted that my girlfriend had asked her family not to tell me anything. That moment, it shattered me. All I'd ever done was try to support her. I never asked for anything in return. I never pressured her. Never got angry. Never even complained. I tried to be patient, kind, present. And I was being cut off. Like I didn't exist. A few days later, she texted me. She wanted to meet. But not at a park or a cafe or her house. She sent me an address I didn't recognize. I plugged it into Google Maps. It was a therapist's office. She said the appointment was at 4 p.m. I left work early. Didn't ask questions. Just showed up. When I got there, the receptionist told me to wait. Then the therapist came out and introduced herself. Calm, neutral, clinical. She said she'd like to speak with me privately before bringing my girlfriend into the room. I said okay. She sat me down and calmly started explaining the rules, what I could say, how I should behave, what words to avoid. Then she said, she wants to speak with you in a safe, structured environment. This is the only way she felt comfortable doing it. I nodded, still not really understanding what was about to happen. She led me into the room. My girlfriend was already sitting in a chair across from an empty one. There was a box of tissues on the table between us. She looked like she'd been crying, face flushed, hands clenched, eyes red. The therapist said she had something important to tell me. And then she spoke. She told me that the night she missed our lunch, she wasn't sick. She wasn't having a breakdown. She had slept with someone. A coworker. Someone from her new job. I stared at her, trying to process the words. I remember blinking. I remember the air feeling too heavy in my chest. Then I looked at the therapist. She immediately jumped in. She said, this wasn't infidelity in the traditional sense. She said, this is not about betrayal, it's about trauma recovery. She said, reclaiming physical control is a common and important step for SA survivors. She used all the right words, all the right clinical explanations. Meanwhile, I was sitting in a chair, watching my entire world fold in on itself. My girlfriend, who hadn't even let me hold her hand in a year, had chosen to be intimate with someone else. A guy she barely knew. While I was waiting for her, supporting her, loving her in complete silence. She said it was a mistake. She said she didn't want to lose me. She said she didn't know why she did it. She said her head was a mess, and she just needed to feel like she had control again. I sat there in total silence. No yelling. No blaming. Just heartbreak. And then, when I couldn't take it anymore, I finally spoke. I said, you haven't even held my hand in almost a year. But you could sleep with someone else? While I sat there like an idiot, waiting for you to show up to dinner? She broke down crying. The therapist said we should pause. That I should probably leave. I apologized out of pure reflex and left the room. Later that day, she messaged me. Long message. Saying she regretted everything. That it was the biggest mistake of her life. That she felt sick about it. That she wanted to talk. So we met again. I told her, if there's going to be any future for us, any chance at all, she needed to cut off that guy completely. She looked at me with hesitation. She said she couldn't. They worked together. So I told her, then there is no future. She cried again. A few days later, she quit her job. We started seeing each other again, sort of. Lunches. Quiet afternoons. I told her I was tired of just talking in public, tired of the emotional flatline. She said she'd come over to my place to hang out. She did. We watched movies. Ordered pizza. Laughed a little. It almost felt normal again. Then tonight, I leaned in to kiss her. Just a kiss. Nothing else. She pulled back like I tried to hurt her. Like I was dangerous. She said, I'm not ready. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I just looked at her. And said, it's been over a year. I've never pressured you. Never rushed you. I respected every boundary. But a few months ago, you had sex with someone else on your terms. And I still can't even hold your hand. She cried again. This time, I didn't apologize. I just told her, I would never force you into anything. But I feel like I've been played. Like I've been holding space for someone who doesn't really want to be with me. And I don't know if I can keep doing this. She kept crying. Said she was sorry. Said she didn't mean to hurt me. Said she was confused. I told her not to contact me for a while. That I needed space to think. Now I'm here. Writing this. And I hate everything. I hate that I still love her. I hate what was done to her. I hate the man who destroyed both of us. I hate the idea of leaving her when she needs someone. But I also hate the thought of staying, of becoming resentful, bitter, distant. I know myself. I know what that kind of silent pain turns into. And if she comes back tomorrow and says she wants to be intimate, it'll feel like pity. Or guilt. Or desperation. Not love. But if I leave, I'm punishing her for something she didn't choose. For a trauma she didn't ask for. For a situation none of us ever deserved. And yet, I don't think I can stay. I don't know how to be her partner when I feel like a stranger. I don't know how to be her safe space when she ran to someone else in her most vulnerable moment. I'm tired. I'm so tired. And I just want peace. So, what would you do? What would you say to someone in my position?